Well, hello everyone and welcome to Sports Chat. Today is April 13th. We are your hosts, Brian Mahler.
RJ Pomelo.
And we have a great show for you today. We have 3 being the magic number for both the Celtics and Bruins. They're both the number 3 seed heading into the playoffs.
Yes, they are. And also, Manny Ramirez's career is now done. And unfortunately, so is Danny Woodhead when it comes to having his picture on the Madden 12 cover.
Absolutely. And all that's going to be on the show tonight, including our Twitter chatter and all your fan comments. But first, we're going to start with the news, and we're going to tell you a little bit about the Red Sox. That's the big story today. And the Red Sox have just been struggling. But Mother Nature gave the Red Sox a little bit of a gift tonight. She canceled tonight's game with her rain. And the Red Sox won't have to play and won't have to lose.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. If you don't play, you can't lose.
I mean, they've struggled mightily in every facet of the game so far this season. They've just been flat out bad. It starts with their pitching. Their pitching has been terrible, and that's to say the least. They might have the worst pitching in baseball right now.
They do have the worst
arguably.
pitching in baseball right now.
Their pitching does have the worst ERA in baseball at 6.77, and that comes as a direct result from them giving up way too many long balls. Just
absolutely.
Way too many home runs. 21 on the season. That's the most in the majors. They've given up 72 runs, 70 of them earned. That's just not going to get it done.
Oh, no, there's no way. But I'll tell you what, though. If I'm in the home run derby this year, I'm going to ask one of the Red Sox pitchers to pitch to me.
I'd ask Daisuke,
Yeah,
to be quite honest.
I think I would, too.
They've given up the 72 runs, as I've said. And another problem is that they've only scored 40.
Yeah.
Only scoring 40 runs is not going to add up to giving up 72. That's not going to help.
No, it's not at all. And, I mean, you expect this lineup to come up with more runs than that, but you can't really. They've struggled when they have runners in scoring position. They've struggled a lot. And that's not something that you're going to win games if you can't knock in runs. But so the blame doesn't go entirely on the pitchers, but I'll tell you right now, if the pitching doesn't get better, they're not going to win many games.
I completely have to agree. I mean, up and down the lineup, they have just straight out struggled. With the exception of one little guy, our little friend Dustin Pedroia. He's hitting .366. He's the only one hitting for the Red Sox right now. I mean, Carl Crawford, he's batting .157. Adrian Gonzalez, he's batting .268. These guys are the guys that they brought in to bolster this lineup, and they're not doing anything. It's the old guy, Dustin Pedroia, that's holding his own and keeping things together. I mean, together, Crawford and Gonzalez both have only 8 RBIs so far this season. That's not going to get it done.
No, and you know, it begs the question, did they just kind of throw a bunch of all-stars on a team and think, well, this will work, and just decide that they didn't have to do any work in the preseason towards getting the team ready chemistry-wise? And here we go with that word chemistry again. We toss around with the Celtics all the time, and now the Red Sox are having the same problem. Is it because the team just doesn't gel? Because I think a little bit of this, if not a lot of this, is on Terry Francona.
I definitely have to agree because they've mixed up the lineups a lot. You've seen the lineups jump around, and that's definitely a problem. They don't have a set lineup. Guys don't know where they're going to be hitting when they come to the ballpark, and many baseball players have said that they like to know where they're going to be when they come to the ballpark, what things are going to be like when they come to the ballpark, and they just don't have it right now.
Yeah, and you know, they play the preseason games for a reason. You know, there's a reason they go down to Florida. It's so that they can get ready. It's not so that they can, you know, screw around and just say, well, we've got a great team. We're supposed to win the World Series. They needed to prepare a lot more than they did, apparently, because 2 wins in 11 games, that's not cutting it.
No, that's not cutting it at all. But let's talk a little bit about those Celtics and Bruins. They're the 3 seeds. 3 is the magic number.
It is the magic number. So the Celtics, this Saturday, begin their series with the New York Knicks in the playoffs. The Knicks, who have the 6th seed. And I would like to point out that I did predict that was going to happen.
You did predict that
we'd
on
lose
the
the
show.
2 seed to the Heat, which we did do. The Celtics got blown out by the Heat, unfortunately.
Crushing.
Yeah, it was. It was a bad blow. And that game right there just kind of summarized exactly how the Celtics have been playing lately.
Yes.
They're uninspired. They don't look like they want to be there, and they just can't score the ball much.
No.
And back to what I was saying on last episode, it looks like the big 3 are very tired. It looks like Rondo is sick of doing what he's doing. And it just looks like the pieces that we added late in the season, back to chemistry again, they just don't exactly fit. And I don't think this team is at all ready for the playoffs. I wouldn't be surprised to see the Celtics beat the Knicks, but I wouldn't be surprised to see the Knicks beat the Celtics either. The Celtics
Agreed.
have played the Knicks 3 times already this season. Celtics won all 3 games, which is good. That's in our favor. But all 3 games were decided by 4 points or fewer. So obviously, the Knicks have the ability to beat us.
They do.
This isn't going to be a 4-game series, I'll tell you that right now. This series is probably going to go all the way, and if the Celtics don't win it, I'm not going to be shocked, and I don't think anybody else is either.
I definitely won't be shocked.
No.
The Knicks, they were on a roll closing out the season, and that's what you want to do going into the playoffs. We said it last show. Same with the Bruins. The Bruins were on a roll, and that's what you wanted moving into the playoffs. And the Knicks are on a roll right now. They lost Monday night, but they've been on a roll.
Well, think about it. The Knicks lost to the Bulls. Everybody loses to the
Yeah.
Bulls. The Bulls are my favorite to go all the way and win the championship. Before they lost to the Bulls, they'd won 7 straight.
Yep.
That's a really good note to be flying into the playoffs on.
It is.
And Celtics have lost 3 of their last 4. One of them didn't play the starters, but I mean, it's not looking too good. And when the Celtics played the Bulls, it was not a close game at all.
No.
It started out close, but fizzled near the end, which is how the Celtics like to play. When the Knicks played the Bulls, it was a close game.
That's true.
It was competitive, and the Knicks looked like they knew what they were doing on the basketball court. Unfortunately, the Celtics haven't exactly looked like they know what they're doing in a long time.
This is true.
So-
but let's move on to the team that I have a feeling is going to do a little bit more than the Celtics.
I certainly hope so.
That's where I'm putting my faith right now. I really believe in this Bruins team moving forward. But one good note is that our good old friend Tim Thomas, setting a record. He set the single-season save percentage record, and his mark was he had a save percentage of .938. And I mean, that beat Dominic Hasek's old record of .936, and he set that record in 98-99.
Good old Hasek.
You know, it's always good to see, because Hasek's a good goalie.
Hasek is a good goalie.
He's a great goalie. And, I mean, it's good for Tim. He had a great year. Tim Thomas has been absolutely huge for this team. You can't stress how big he's been.
No, absolutely not, especially with how Tuukka's been playing, which hasn't been completely awful, but has certainly not been great.
Yeah, he didn't have a season like he did last year,
No,
but
not even close.
you know, it's good to see Tim Thomas playing well, and that's what you need, because they're going to need defense if they expect to win.
Absolutely.
And they're going to be playing the Canadiens, the old Canadiens, and I believe it was our buddy Kev who said last show that he wanted to see those Canadiens in the first round.
Yep.
Well, you got them. The
Yes,
Canadiens are
yes, you
here,
did.
and we're going to see them first round. And the Canadiens, they've been a tough out for the Bruins this year. The Bruins are 4-2 against them, and I mean, the one big game that stands out is when they finally beat the Canadiens without having to beat them up, and that was they beat them with the skill game. They beat them 7-0.
Yeah.
And that was a big game for them, and they're going to need more play like that in the playoffs.
Oh, that was a huge game, but I mean, you have to know something like that probably isn't going to happen again. I'd be really surprised to see us go out and win 7-0, but you know, it could happen. They proved that they can beat them, and that's the important thing. So they can go in with a bit of confidence and just knowing that they have what it takes to get the job done. Makes me feel a lot more confident.
I agree. And just so everyone knows, Max Pacioretty, he's skating, he's practiced, but he's not going to play in the series. So, I mean, it was a big question. Mark Recchi criticized him, saying that, you know, he may have embellished a bit. And we all know that everyone in Boston can agree with that. And another good note is Zdeno Chara will not be arrested when he goes to Montreal for this playoff series.
certainly
They've
hope
dropped
not.
the charges. So it's all right. He'll be able to play his hockey game without all the rigmarole that comes with the ridiculousness of going to Montreal.
Well, yeah, let us just hope, though, that nobody else gets hurt on the Canadiens team when we're in Montreal, because half the Bruins lineup could end up in jail.
Well, I'm sure you're going to see them flopping around and acting like they're getting hurt. We're going to see a lot of it.
Well, that's what they do.
But, you know, that it is what it is. They begin the series Thursday, and, I mean, let's just hope. Let's hope these Bruins can keep the roll, stay on a roll. And
I think we have a little bit more than hope right now. They've been looking good lately. They can beat the Canadiens. It'll be a good series.
It sure will.
But it looks like we have what it takes to get the job done.
Let's talk about our little friend from the Patriots.
Yeah, a little bit of
Patriots news.
unfortunate news coming out of the New England Patriots this week. Unfortunately, Danny Woodhead will not be on the cover of EA Sports Madden 12. I was really hoping he was going to be there. They had a bit of a tournament where fans got to vote to decide who was going to be on the
I
Madden
liked it.
cover.
It was a good.
Oh, it was
good
great.
idea.
I'm hoping they continue it in the future. And Danny Woodhead, he did great in the first 2 rounds. Patriots
excellent.
fans came out strong. They voted for him. He beat both Steve Johnson and Akeem Nicks. Those are victories.
Both good young players.
Absolutely, both relatively popular players. And unfortunately, in the 3rd round, he pretty much ran into a buzzsaw. And I mean, when you go up against the Super Bowl MVP, what are you going to do? And
Lose
yeah,
is what you're going to do.
Exactly. And he did lose to Aaron Rodgers. Unfortunately, Aaron Rodgers is still in the running. He is not. But Aaron Rodgers only got 56% of the vote.
So, I mean, Woodhead, he put up a fight.
He certainly did. And I think people
He gave us a fight.
I think people around the league, although a lot of people hate the Patriots, I think that a lot of people like Danny Woodhead just because he's that little guy that fights, and a lot of people can relate to that,
He's
being
naturally
the underdog.
the underdog.
Yeah, he certainly is. And I think a lot of
built
people
to be
wanted to see him go all the way. He definitely was the underdog when it came to this Madden tournament, too, going up against Aaron Rodgers. But
too bad for the little pint-sized Patriot.
good news, though, Danny Woodhead not being on the cover means that he will not be cursed.
No Madden curse.
Exactly.
That's key.
Yeah, so
So let Aaron Rodgers go all the way.
Sure, yeah, he'll probably make it through 2 games and then be on the IR for the rest of the season if he's on the cover.
I certainly hope so. I'd rather it go.
Yeah.
Well, I don't want to wish injury on Aaron Rodgers, but I'd rather it be someone other than Danny Woodhead. Is what I'm trying to say.
But let's be honest, there's also a possibility that no NFL players are going to play this season. So.
That's true. So that could be the curse all in and of itself.
Yeah, they put all the players had the possibility of being on the cover, so now none of the players
Let's
are
curse
going
every
to play.
roster. All right, now it's time to move on into the chat room. And this is when your fan input comes into play, and this is what we really like to make this show about. That's what the show is about. And we're going to move back to the abysmal Red Sox. I hate to bring it up again, but they've just been terrible. And as we noted before, the pitching staff has just been extremely bad. And one of our chat room questions was, what's wrong with Red Sox pitching? And Ray told us that it's Daisuke. Let him pitch his own way, and let's get to the end of his contract. And, I have to say, I have to agree with Ray. Daisuke is a problem.
He is. He's a big problem. And he's a problem because, and Ray did also have a few other comments, he said that you can't coach Daisuke, you can't trade Daisuke, you can't send Daisuke to Pawtucket.
No, you don't have many options with
No,
Daisuke.
you got to pitch him.
You just, I agree, though, that when he came here, he was brought up pitching one way, the Japanese way, and that's how he pitched. That's how he was successful. I believe that bringing him here and trying to change his regimen and how he's played, it ruined him a little bit, I think. And you have to, I figure, just let him go at it, let him do his own thing, let him go his own way, and maybe, just maybe, we'll be able to see Daisuke be the Daisuke that we thought he was going to be originally.
Yeah, I mean, if you really get to thinking about it, the first season he was here, they did let him do his own thing because they trusted him. And although he burned out a little bit at the end of the season because he pitched a lot of innings, he did get the job done for the most part. He wasn't sensational, but he was good. And I figure if that's the way it works, then that's what you got to do with him because you have to pitch him.
I mean, and also, one thing that should be noted is that Red Sox pitching has a brand new pitching coach and a new starting catcher with Saltalamacchia. So this is going to be a process. There's a lot of people trying to adjust to each other here. And it's not going to be, you can't expect them to come out of the bat and just have it.
No, that's absolutely true. And I do think that with time, the majority of the pitching staff will come around. Hopefully all of it will. Right now, it's almost entirely awful. Right. Lester had one good game, although they lost, and Josh Beckett had a great game against the Yankees. But other than that, it's been god-awful.
It's been bad.
It couldn't have gotten much worse than it is right now.
I mean, just to go by the numbers for Daisuke, just to jump back, his numbers are this for the season so far in 2011. He's 0-2 with a 12.86 ERA. He's given up 3 home runs, 10 earned runs, and he's had